Hello. Today I'm going to share with you my favorite reads for March. I have two, one for my husband, but we're going to start with mine. And the first one is so excellent. I'm sure some of you already read it, but not everybody, and everybody should read it. It's Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I cannot say enough good about this book. I loved it. I found it through a Teaser Tuesday at bookventures.blogspot.com. I'll read the teaser that got my interest, that made me want to read it. It's from chapter 24. It says, "I can't believe I didn't see him for what he was from the beginning, a wolf in sheep's clothing, and now I'm the sheep pretending to be the wolf." So it has a lot of betrayal in it, a lot of adventure, action-packed. No, you can't trust anybody, and it keeps saying that. You can't trust anybody. You can't trust anybody. And sure enough, you can't. There's silvers with the superpowers, who are the rich group, and then there's the poor, who are red bloods without superpowers, except for Mara, the main character. She has a superpower, and it's very rare, and so there's a little similarity to the Virgin in that side of the book. And then a little bit of a Cinderella story, because she gets from the poor community into the palace and then gets to marry one of the princes. So it's like rags to riches there. But it is amazing. It has so many twists, so many unusual things happen. You think you have something figured out, and then, whoa, no way! And you have to reread that part. Did I just read that? Is that what really happened? Oh, wow! I said, oh, wow, about, oh, man, 6 times through the book, maybe. It has a good ending. I hated to see it end, because I really liked it, and there is a sequel coming out. It's the first of the series. I was just flabbergasted by it. I highly recommend it to anybody. I think it's a really fun read. One of my favorite books for this year, I think. It definitely sticks in your head after you've read it. There's so much in it. It's well written. I loved it. I couldn't put it down. Okay, I had two books that I really liked a lot. After I read Red Queen, I thought, wow, this could be hard to top this. And it was. But I also liked the next book I read, which was Silent Sister by Diane Chamberlain. And from fantasy world, dystopian, after make-up-believe powers and superpowers, we come back to reality in this book with contemporary fiction about the extreme lengths parents go to protect their children. It sort of reminded me of the Jodi Picoult books that deal with moral issues, and it's about a family. Lisa is the silent sister, who's a child prodigy violinist charged with murder at age 17, and her sister and brother were always told that she committed suicide. Well, years later, her younger sister, Riley, comes back home when her dad died, when their father died, to take care of the estate and clean out the house and sell it in the trailer park. And the brother lives at the trailer park. He didn't really care about anything about the family. He didn't want to go back there. He was always jealous of his older sister. He felt the parents favored her, and so he had a real chip on his shoulder. He was a veteran, and so he had some post-traumatic stress disorder issues. And but he and Riley always were pretty close growing up, and so she wanted to reconnect with her brother, and he didn't really want to discuss old times. But while she's going through the father's things And talking to the different people in the trailer park, she discovers that her sister may not actually be dead after all. In fact, she's on the run, and then it goes back and gives you a glimpse of what Lisa's going through when she left. She faked her death, and she goes on the run. She's a fugitive. It's really interesting. And I couldn't help but root for her, even though she was charged with murder, and she's running from the law. I couldn't help but pull for her. And I don't know what that says about me, but but it was written so well, and you just felt sorry for her. And there's all kinds of secrets and lies going on, and it all comes out slowly and gradually, and the reader is just wowed by it. So even my husband said this book rocks, so that was interesting, because this was the first one he read, I think, by Diane Chamberlain. And I read 4 books by her and liked them all. This one did not disappoint. Okay, the last book is one my husband really favored for the month. His best book of the month for March was American Sniper. Chris Kyle's real true stories, nonfiction. Chris was a Navy SEAL. He had 4 deployments in Iraq, and my husband just thought it was riveting, and he loved it. I, on the other hand, I liked it all right, but it wasn't like wow for me. I had to plow through some parts, especially when it talked about the weapons, and this weapon does this, and this, and blah, blah, blah. On and on about the weapons. I didn't care for that. I didn't care for how he treated his family. His priorities, to me, were out of whack. He said his priorities were clearly, he said God, country, family. Well, to me, he really neglected his wife. It was like she's having a baby, and he goes and joins up again. I just didn't. It bothered me. I liked the war part of it. It was good. It was enlightening. It really gives you a feel for what our soldiers go through over there, and it certainly does show the sacrifice that is involved, and that was a good part of the book. The best part I liked was the training, because these guys really go through a lot for training, and they don't treat each other too nice either. I didn't get that. It's like when their new SEAL comes in, they have this initiation thing, and very mean stuff they do. So it was enlightening. I learned from it, an insight into what it's like to be a Navy SEAL, and what it's like to be over in Iraq, and as best you can by reading a book. But so it had good points, but then there's some stuff that bothered me too. He says how strong a Christian he was and how important God was to him, and then he goes in bar fights, and he's looking for fights all the time, and he's partying with drinking and rowdiness, and then he neglects his wife pretty much. She tells him she doesn't want to rejoin, and then he goes and re-enlists anyhow. 4 times. So that kind of bugged me. I didn't really care for him. But as far as the book went, it was good. I gave it 4 stars. My husband, he loved it and said it's a must-read. So there you have it, our favorites for the month of March.